Hi, welcome back to Nixology. Today we're going to talk about Nixpkgs Overlays. So Nixpkgs is the global shared package repository for Nix. It's got something like 80,000 packages in it. But if you want to distribute your own packages that you don't want to have to go through the upstream pull request process, or maybe it's proprietary code for within your organization that you want to distribute within your org, I think the best way to do that currently is with overlays. So the way a Nixpkgs overlay works is that it's essentially a kind of veneer you put on top of Nixpkgs that has the opportunity to, let's say, mutate the contents of Nix packages before it actually gets used. So you can add packages, you could remove packages, you can change certain things about existing packages, but all of this is possible, and we're going to walk through how. So you might remember from several videos ago, we had this lscolors.nix derivation that we were using to do some stuff to make the output of ls more colorful on macOS. So what we're going to do is start an overlay for Nix packages to distribute this. So what we want at the end is to have nixpkgs.lscolors to work. And currently it doesn't because it's not in Nix packages. So the first thing we want to do is typically we want to create a repository or at least a directory for our overlay. So we're going to make a directory called myOverlay. And within that, typically you'll want a packages directory and a default.nix. So we're going to do default.nix. And now we have this structure. Now we're going to move lscolors into packages, and now we have this structure. So just to quickly get started here, the basic structure of a Nix overlay is it is a function of two arguments, and it returns an attribute set. So this is very similar to the structure of Nix packages, actually, in that the thing evaluates to just a big attribute set of names and values. So really what we're going to want here is lscolors equals something. We don't know yet exactly. And these two arguments have a very specific meaning to overlays. So if you think of what the word overlay means, it's laying it over an underlying layer. So the way you can think of this is at the bottom there's Nix packages, and then each overlay that you have successfully gets applied on top of that, and eventually there's a final layer that's actually used as Nix packages. So in the case where you only have one overlay, there's just Nix packages and then your overlay. And in that case, super refers to Nix packages, essentially, and self refers to the result of merging Nix packages and your overlay together. In cases where you have multiple, basically super refers to the next link up the chain, and self refers to the final result of just merging everything together through, you don't really have to understand why. And there's an easy rule for understanding how to use self and super that we'll get to in a little bit. But all this to say, they basically refer to Nix packages and your overlay itself. So one quick tip is just always make these recursive attribute sets. Now let's get into what we actually have to do with this derivation. So we're going to save this file, and we're going to pop across to lscolors. Now, this is currently, it was meant to be run by itself. It's importing Nix packages. Now, in a Nix overlay, you already have Nix packages imported, and it's, kind of super. So we don't want to do that. We kind of want to mirror the way Nix packages does this. So if we go across to Nix packages, and we open a random derivation, let's say shadow_env, it's got this signature at the top. This makes this file evaluate to a function of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. So what's actually happening is when we call this, we're not importing Nix packages in this file. It's getting some values passed in that are the stuff it's asking for from Nix packages. And if we go to the top level file here, we'll see shadow_env is assigned as the result of calling this call package function with the path that we were just looking at. And then some overrides that you don't really have to worry about. It's maybe would have been better to show like scss lint. So call package with the path and then some stuff. And what call package does really is to, what call package does really is just to look at the names in that signature and pass the corresponding things from Nixpkgs in. So in this case, rather than importing packages, let's stop doing that. Let's create this function signature and we'll say, okay, well, we want fetch get, we want run command, and we want core utils. And then there. So this might be right. So then this is going to be call package of packages ls_colors.nix and no overrides. What you can do here is if you want a different thing passed, like if you're like, okay, well, this run command is the one that exists on Nixpkgs, but for this particular derivation, I want to use this instead of that, you can say run command equals whatever else. But we don't want to do that here. So let's try installing this and building it. So the way that you actually install an overlay is you have this directory config Nixpkgs Overlays. And we have the one that we use internally at Shopify. But what you want to do basically is just, we'll go back to the overlay directory and we're going to do ln-s. And we just symlink the full path to this default.nix into that overlays directory. And if we run nixamp ls_colors, it doesn't work because call package wasn't defined. So it turns out we can't really like just strictly copy this from Nixpkgs because call package was already in scope in Nixpkgs and it's not here. So really what we do is just call self.callPackage because self refers to the result of the final merged everything, and this is just what you have to do. Okay, so now we got a conflict. So this is something that you'll see once in a while with Nixpkgs or Nix. It's trying to install dir colors, but it has two things that have the same priority. This is because I actually have this thing installed in my environment with Home Manager, and this is conflicting because it thinks they're two different derivations trying to install the same file, but they're not really. So all we have to do is add an attribute here, meta.priority equals anything other than 5, really. Let's make this one take precedence. Lower priorities have higher precedence. So now we install it, and it installs. Cool. This is essentially, that's an overlay. You can also use things from the overlay itself as these dependencies from Nixpkgs. We could create another simple derivation. Let's just copy this one. Save as, I don't know, packages lol.nix. And this is going to depend on just run command and ls_colors. We're going to get rid of this fetch get thing. We'll call it lol. We'll change its priority to 2. And all we'll do here is copy ls_color. This doesn't have to make sense. We just copy ls_colors ls into our bin directory. And let's just call it something different. And then we shouldn't need the priority. So all we're doing here is copying something simple from ls_colors. And all we have to do in the overlay is this. So then it should be the case that if I just run this, I get my weird version of ls. I don't know what I did wrong there. It's not important. Yeah. So that's kind of overlays in a nutshell. Next video, I might talk about how to override things from upstream Nixpkgs in an overlay. There's a couple different ways to do that and a few tricks. But yeah, until next time, see ya.